Okay, good afternoon. Thank you all so much for joining us. As you can see, this has been a busy day for our organized crime group. We actually worked this case in conjunction with our partners at the SAPD and with DPS. This afternoon, about 1:20 p.m., one of our deputies from gang unit made a traffic stop in the 300 block of Stonewall on the city's south side. During the course of that traffic stop, about 2 kilos of methamphetamine were found in the car. They developed enough information to take them back to a home in the 700 block of Fitch, 755 Fitch to be exact. They executed a warrant at right around 3 o'clock and found what you see here. We're estimating this to be about 25 to 30 kilos of methamphetamine with a street value of about $2.5 million. And then, of course, there's also at least a kilo of cocaine that's also there. That obviously will add to the dollar amount, but we're looking at several $1 million worth of street value. Additionally, we found what's estimated to be at this point about in excess of $20,000 in cash. The two suspects that were found to be in possession of these narcotics, a 38-year-old male and a 39-year-old female. Of course, because they have not yet been magistrated, we're not able to release their names, but we do have, I believe, photos that we'll be sending out to the news desk before too long. We're anticipating that those two people are going to probably be facing federal charges as soon as tomorrow. Our intention is to continue consulting with the U.S. Attorney's Office, and I believe our intention at this point is to book those two people federally tomorrow, so they'll be magistrated at some point tomorrow morning. You know, we're glad to always have a good working relationship with the city and with the state police. You know, when law enforcement works together and does everything as a team, good things happen for everybody, especially the taxpayers of Bexar County. As you know, we're able to pull resources, personnel, manpower, equipment, and training, and get this much drugs off the street all at one time. Esta tarde nosotros arrestamos a dos sospechosos, un hombre de 38 años de edad y una mujer de 39 años de edad. Se aparenta que aproximadamente la 1 de la tarde, uno de nuestros oficiales de la unidad antipandillas paró un carro en 300 Stonewall. Se encontró, durante ese reviso de ese carro, se encontró con 2 kilos de metanfetamina. Nosotros logramos más información y ya ejecutamos una orden de cateo en 755 Fitch, en el sur de la ciudad. Nosotros ya ejecutando esa orden de cateo, nosotros nos encontramos con esto, aproximadamente 25 kilos de metanfetamina, que vale más que $2 millones. Y también nos encontramos con 1 kilo de cocaína. Los dos sospechosos ahorita se piensa que ellos se van a enfrentar con cargos federales mañana, ya cuando hablamos con la fiscal federal. A nosotros nos da mucho gusto poder trabajar con nuestros socios en la ciudad de San Antonio, con el SAPD y también con la Policía Estatal DPS. Las tres agencias trabajaron juntas para asegurar que pescamos estas drogas y estos dos sospechosos, pero la investigación sigue de aquí. Any questions?
Any gang affiliation at this point?
At this point, no. I believe at least one of these folks is a resident of Mexico, not a U.S. citizen. The other one, I believe, is a legal permanent resident. Of course, that you know, obviously their status will be placed in jeopardy by the fact that they now face these charges. But at this point, I mean, you can assume with this much drug present in one place, there's going to be gang ties. But at this point, we don't have enough to say which organization.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you, Sheriff. What is the backstory on this? I mean, clearly, I'm assuming with this much drugs and cash on hand, they're not operating alone. Are you looking into a bigger organized crime ring? Did you have these guys on your radar?
Well, with us, you know, it's always about trying to climb that ladder, and sometimes it's, you know, you can only climb so high before people don't no longer cooperate. You know, so obviously with us, our intent with our organized crime group, which is who is working this case, the intent is to try to dismantle and disrupt organizations as able. So it'd be too early to say, you know, which direction this is going to go, but obviously we're hoping that it'll be more fruitful as we progress into this investigation.
¿Hubo alguna resistencia de parte de los detenidos individuos estaban armados?
Afortunadamente no hubo resistencia. Ya el sospechoso, el hombre, fue el que paramos en el carro y luego ya la mujer se rindió sin incidente.
¿Y tenían armas en su poder?
No, es raro, pero nosotros no nos encontramos con armas a causa de este caso. Oh, no, yeah, no resistance at all, thankfully. The male was the one that was on the traffic stop. Once we went back to the residence, we found the female and no resistance offered. Interestingly enough, we're actually used to finding weapons in an operation like this. No weapons were found. So that's actually quite surprising.
And how did you connect the individual to the Fitch address? Just simple ID or?
Well, our organized crime group has a really good intel contingent that they work with. That coupled with SAPD and DPS, it was pretty simple to get us back to the residence. And again, the information was developed that there was more there. So we certainly weren't flying blind at that point.
Does this drug look like it was maybe heading up north or redistributing?
Oh, I think that this was probably a hub. This just guessing upon what I know about the drug market. It looks like this was a hub, and looks like it's in a pretty rare raw form. So it wouldn't surprise me if they were going to probably step on this, double it in amount and in street value as well. But
Any expectations that any neighbors knew what was going on or anything like that?
at this point, we don't know, but certainly if there's any neighbors that want to give us a call and give us more information, they're certainly welcome to. We can be reached at bcsotips@bear.org is the email. They can also email us they can also call us at 210-335-GANG if they want to leave a message, and they can remain anonymous if they send us an email or if they want to call us at 335-GANG as well.
¿Alguna relación con algún cartel de México por la persona que dice usted que era?
Bueno, más que seguro que hay un cartel involucrado con esto por tanta droga que se encontró, pero ahorita no podemos decir cuál, solamente que sí se sabe que hay una organización involucrada con esto.
You say that in English.
Sure. At this point, it's too early to tell. I mean, we can obviously assume because of the high value of the drugs, so much found all at one time, we can assume that there's going to be cartel ties. If not with these two, then very, very close on the pecking order. We're just assuming that at this point, but it's too soon to tell which cartel is involved with it.
What more can you tell us about the suspects? Have they, once again, been on your radar? Do they have a lengthy criminal record, drugs?
Well, right now we're very limited on what we know of them. They're in our custody. They're at the South Tower right now, but at this point it looks like they're going to be held there overnight, and then they'll be magistrated federally in the morning.
Did you mention the street value?
Yes, sir. Right now as it stands now, we're looking at about $2.5 million in just the methamphetamine. The coke, probably less than another $10,000 on top of that.
And how much money is
We're estimating right now about $20,000, but until we get it and run it through some counters, we're able to tell. But the way it's packaged, we're looking at probably at least $20,000 cash.
Did it appear they lived in the home and were there children there or anything, or was it just a drug house?
No, I don't believe there were any kids involved in it, but what we can tell you is that the initial find is that there was a Pampers box that this stuff was hidden in. But thankfully, we were not able to find any kids in the home. Okay.
Can we ask some questions about some other things also?
Sure, if I know the answers.
Do you have any reason to believe that the Trendagua gang is working in the north central side?
Oh, I can tell you definitively, Tren de Aragua is here in Bexar County. I mean, we come into contact with them. I wouldn't say frequently, but it's certainly not that strange for us to run into some TDA folks out on the streets.
Have you had any issues where the fire department or sheriff's department has been involved in making sure that its employees are aware of something happening at an apartment complex on the north central side?
I'm not sure. I'm not following.
We've got a tip about you guys being aware of something happening in the north central side of town with the gangs.
Oh, well, we're always aware of something going on, but as far as me giving exact locations, I couldn't do that without jeopardizing anything. But I can tell you that we are aware that Tren de Aragua, much like the Mexican drug cartels, are all operating here within Bexar County, and that's one of the main reasons that several years back we established our organized crime group knowing that these sorts of things were occurring. And, here fairly recently, we actually split off a team from that organized crime group to concentrate solely upon transnational criminal organizations because of organizations like Tren de Aragua.
And obviously, we mentioned some gang affiliation possible, but not known yet. Could this at all be connected?
Well, these folks are residents of Mexico, is my understanding. Tren de Aragua, the majority of those come from Venezuela. So I don't, at this point, I don't have any reason to believe that these folks are tied into TDA at all. But again, stranger things have happened, so we'd have to just continue that investigation, see where it leads.
Sheriff, you were going to give us an update on the deputy.
Yes. So the deputy this morning, he's a 30-year-old vet. Let me recap it. Right around 7:30 this morning, a deputy was directing traffic in the 10,000 block of Wurzbach, St. Matthew's Catholic Church. My understanding is he was stopping traffic to let people in to drop children off at the school when I believe it was a Ford Escape struck him, and the deputy at some point went up over the hood. In fact, we've actually got some pretty dramatic video where the Ford Escape just looks to be cruising. We were able to capture from a car that had a dash cam on it. You see the Ford Escape just cruise through the frame with the deputy on the roof, like holding on to the roof. Thankfully, a civilian pickup pulls out of the St. Matthew's parking lot and actually slows down and stops in front of the Ford Escape. And at that point he did that in an effort, from what we can gather, to stop the vehicle. And the deputy, of course, rolled off at that point. The deputy has a broken foot, or at least a broken bone in his foot, and then some head injuries. So obviously could have been much worse. The driver of the Ford Escape fled the scene at a high rate of speed. We do have that car in our custody, is my understanding, and we are looking for the suspect at this point. As soon as we're able, we will release pictures and video of that suspect to you all, again, in hopes that some eagle-eyed viewer out there is able to see this guy and give it up and let us know where he is. But at this point, he's definitely going to be facing a litany of charges. We're just happy that our deputy's okay, and looks like he'll be limping around for a while, and I think he's got some injury to his head, but overall, he's doing well. Okay?
Can I ask one more question?
Sure, of course.
In regards to, and I'm having a blank, Stacy Dar, I believe, who was found in the park.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have any updates? I know you arrested the one man in connection for evading, but
Mm-hmm.
have you tied down any suspects or have any idea what happened?
Well, we've got several people that we would consider persons of interest. Obviously to me, that term is not interchangeable with suspects. So just because you're a person of interest, but we've got folks that we've been talking to, we've been interviewing. Some have panned out, some have we're still looking, and some have, end up, we come up with, they come up with some sort of an alibi that they were at work during that time. If we can establish that, then we clear them and continue to move on. So at this point, we certainly have a list of folks that we're looking into. But again, we would ask anybody with any information on Mr. Miga, or if they saw or saw anything suspicious either on that day or around that time, please give us a call. Interestingly enough, we've actually had instances in that same park where young ladies have come forward and said that they were actually chased or followed by somebody weeks or even months ago and didn't report it because they were afraid nothing was going to be done. We think we know who those people are that may have been chasing women in the park. But again, any information that people want to share with us, 210-335-6000. They can also email us anonymously at bcsotips@bear.org.
Do you happen to have any identification or identifiers on the people who you think may have been chasing women in the park, and should people be afraid to compete in this park?
So we know who the people are. At this point, we don't believe that there's a continuing danger. We think that this was something several weeks ago that a lady called us and said, hey, I want to report that this had happened several weeks prior. She, at the time, didn't report it to authorities, but now she felt comfortable coming forward. Again, we're pretty confident we know who that was that either followed or chased that woman. Again, we don't believe that there's any continuing threat, but with that being said, I would use this as an opportunity to remind the community that no matter where you are, if you're on a trail, a walking trail, or walking at a high school track, or walking through the mall, right? You should always be aware of your surroundings, always try to work, travel with a group. If you're working out, exercising, walking, bike riding, whatever it may be, always try to be with a group anyway. That's always, to me, the best practice. Beyond that, just be aware of your surroundings at any given time. Always let somebody know where you're going to be. If you can share your location with somebody real time with one of those shared family apps where you can track each other's movements, that certainly is preferred. But first and foremost, always try to be with a group.
Do you believe right now it was a random attack?
At this point, yeah, we don't really have any indicators that it was very well planned out. I think it was a crime of opportunity. I think Ms. Dramiga, unfortunately, was in a situation where she was isolated. And, this happened. It was a broad daylight attack from what we can tell. And it, certainly a scary situation, for us, but we want people to know that, look, I don't think it's any more likely to happen in that park or this park or the shopping mall for that matter. Criminals are opportunistic. Criminals are predatory by nature. If they can catch you isolated and unaware of your surroundings, they're going to attack you in a parking garage, in a movie theater, on a walking trail, wherever it may be. But that's why we've always got to be aware of our surroundings and making sure that we're, letting these criminals know that we're not an easy target. Okay? Thank y'all so much.